So my name is Michael Hallissey. I work for the NHS LPT as an employment support specialist. So originally I came to Leicester from Essex in end of October 1989. Things were going quite well. I was living with someone who was a lot older than me, and then rightly so, she didn't want me living there anymore. I was only 21, bit immature, and I ended up first of all in the night shelter on New Walk, the old night shelter. And from there, I tried my old schmoozing smooth trick of meeting her at Vicky Park with a bunch of flowers to say, take me back. And she was like, no, and gave me 15 quid to get the National Express back to Essex. So there I was, trundling back to Essex, but didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do. In a way, I had let the family down by becoming an offender, which was very different for any of my family. We were a good Catholic family. So that weren't great. So first of all, I kicked in one of my mate's cars, which was literally about 150 yards, not kidding, from my mum's front door. Then in the back garden, my mum's shed, unbeknown to her. And then a good friend of mine had given me, well, he drew out £100, which was a lot of money back then, he was a Sainsbury's assistant manager, from the cash point, gave me 85, and he only took 15. Now where that idea came from by him was in conversation. I mentioned to him that I'd met with the manager at the YMCA and found out that the rent at that time was £28 a week. And I thought, if I'm pay up 2 weeks rent and get a job, I can, carry on staying at the YMCA. So YMCA, I still remember the manager who I'd met before travelling back to Essex. He was called Kerry, Welsh guy, really nice guy. We had a chat when he told me about the cost of the rent. I had no money then, so I knew I couldn't pay the money there and then. But I said, I'll be back. So I came back, as I say, then with the money, met with Kerry. I suppose what it gave me here was, in a way, some sense of belonging. I probably needed to mature a bit, and in a way I started to then felt like I had more independence than I had before. So, back then it was, you had shared bathroom facilities, small fridge, 2-ring hob to cook meals, and that was sort of it. And I'd wander down to Summerfields, I think it was back then, in the Haymarket, get my food. And then my partner would come here quite often. I'd cook her a meal. And that, I probably stayed here for about a period of 6 months. But I formed lots of great social sides to it. So we used to have football matches down in the gym. We set up like a video club. We'd get pizzas and have that when we're having like the video clubs. In a way, I was also a bit like felt I was support for some of the others, probably in some way struggling more than me. And then I got invited to something that was called Eurocross, which I don't think they do that now. But we went down somewhere so either Bournemouth or Southampton. I honestly can't remember, because so 34 years ago. But it was all people from all around the world in the YMCA, and it was and we were sort of camping out, and there was a chance to just meet people from different parts of the world in a way and see their experiences and talk, and it was a great experience. And in a way I was invited as a guest, which was great, you know, to be selected to go down as a representative of the YMCA in Leicester. So yeah, it had a massive impact in changing my outlook on life, I'd say. It's a tricky one to say because at the time I was on probation, so hopefully they can't do me now. But you were meant to have a stable address, which this was, but I'm not sure how much I informed them that I'd changed address, and also that short period of being a bit like homeless. So I think, you know, I got back on my feet. I started working in different bars in Leicester. I worked at a pub that don't exist now called the Tavern in the Town, which was a bit lively. I worked in Joker's nightclub. So my idea was that to still, you know, work and pay my rent. I think also by the groups that I set up and the people that I felt at the time I supported, I think it gave me that sense of stability and belonging, like I said earlier. So without it, who knows, maybe I would have gone down the wrong path and got into more trouble. So yeah, I think it. I would say, because he's never gone out of my head, was the ex-manager, I'd love to know if he's still around, who was called Kerry. I think he was the one that in a way believed in me, which possibly at the time I didn't believe much in myself. So he was the one that probably had the most impact again on me by giving me a sense of belonging, giving me a place to live really, and then actually getting myself back measured, which at the time I probably was not like that, and feeling extremely lonely and isolated in Leicester. You know, everything for me was back in Essex, and I didn't think I was going to stay in Leicester at that time. So everything was back there. But here I am still in Leicester it's over 35 years now, crazy. So, yeah. So I work for the NHS LPT as an employment support specialist, and even though that's my role now, and it was great that I met with Hannah, the HR manager here, it was to try and help people that I support, arguably from all ages, but to try and see if there's opportunities for employment. I support people mostly with mental health. Funny enough, I was diagnosed about 4.5 years ago with ADHD, which explains a lot of things that were probably going on for me, especially when I was younger, and at the age of 21 when I came through the doors of the YMCA, which again, as I say, I had a massive help and support mechanism that I needed at that time. Previously as well, I've done lots of other roles. Fun enough, I worked in prisons and probation for about 10 years. And again, that was looking at resettlement. So the resettlement was, part of that was even linking up with places like the YMCA, either at this site here at East Street or the one at Elston Road. And it was very much about seeing the support it gave me and hoping that I could not support people necessarily with accommodation, even though sometimes that's crossed my mind, is about trying to see if there's people that can do some great work here that I come across in the role that I now do, supporting people through employment support.